Hey everyone, James Niggemeyer here. Thank you for tuning back into the YouTube channel. I fished a Bass Federation tournament over the weekend. It had about 28 competitors and the water temperature had really fallen over the course of a week. We had like 3 days in a row of below freezing temperatures or right in the mid 30s. And our evenings were obviously a lot cooler than that. And I actually practiced the afternoon before the event, and I saw some 42 degree temperature, 43 degree water temperature. And that was, I think, mainly because of the fact that there was some sun on the water that day. It was still and calm and nice. And this is like the first time the sun had been out in like 3 days. So it was a pleasurable day to be out there. It was still cold when you ran down the lake, but for the most part, it was really a nice, pleasurable day to be on the water. And then the tournament day, like overnight, it was warm and warmer. I think it only got down into the 40s. And I think in the morning at takeoff, it was like, I think, high 40s. And I already thought that I had, overdressed for the day. Right after takeoff, it started to spritz a little bit. And even as we were driving towards the ramp, I was kind of thinking, man, this is going to be a really nice day on the water. And then maybe about, say, 8 o'clock or so, it started to drizzle. And it drizzled and or rained for most of the day. And it was one of the colder days I've spent on the water in a while. I was fully prepared for it. I had a Cabela's Instinct jacket on underneath my Cabela's Guidewear rain gear. I had good footwear, wool socks. I've got those hollow socks if you've seen them online. Anyways, I was geared up for the day, but it rained and there was about a 5 to 7 mile an hour wind, maybe got up to 10 miles an hour. And I think it was rainy and in the 40s most of the day, rainy or drizzling, and it was bitter cold. And I started fishing, kind of out offshore, trying to catch suspended fish on forward facing sonar. I think I had one bite, a crappie, a yellow bar bass, barfish, which is like a smaller subspecies of a white bass. But that didn't work. But I had located some fish on some grass the day before. And so I ran up to those fish. And really the only way that I could get those fish to bite was on a 1/4 ounce Bill Lewis rattle trap. And this is the actual setup and bait. If you've tuned into my channel for any length of time, you probably noticed that that's probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Bill Lewis rattle trap color, that kind of red craw with the chartreuse belly like that. Just works great in stained or off-colored water, and that's what we had. The interesting thing about that presentation and the bite was I couldn't get them to eat just straight retrieving, as you throw it back and then just throw it out there and just reel it straight back to the boat. That didn't seem to work at all. The only way that I could get them to bite it was to throw it out there. And I was fishing in shallower water, less than 5 feet. Throw it out there, let it sink to the bottom. And then with the rod tip, I would pump it. It's hard to demonstrate that here, but I would pump it like this. Basically the bait would go up and then it would just sink down to the bottom. Go up, and then it would sink down to the bottom. And a lot of times those bites would come on the fall. Super tough conditions. Again, that water temperature, 41 when I got there, 42, 43, I think was the high of the water temperature for the day. But I was able to get them to react to this 1/4 ounce Bill Lewis rattle trap on that pump style retrieve. I can actually demonstrate it a little bit more. And I would just kind of lift it. Actually, it wasn't really pumping. Pumping gives it the action like I'm ripping it up off the bottom. I was actually just, and then it would just fall back to the bottom. And those fish would eat it on the drop. As it was sinking, I would go to lift up on it, and they would just have it. And you just have to reel down and set the hook and bring them into the boat. But this was my primary presentation. I did catch one on a flat-sided balsa, but I had the bites for a limit. And I think I ended up with 3 bites on the 1/4 ounce Bill Lewis rattle trap, and then 2 bites on the balsa flat side. I only got one of the balsa flat side fish into the boat, and I only got 2 of the 1/4 ounce Bill Lewis rattle trap fish to the boat. And I ended up with 3 fish for like $9.56, and they only paid 5 places, and I finished 7th. man, if I would have caught those two other ones, I think it was 19 to win, 17, and then 14.98, and then 14, and then a buddy of mine, good buddy of mine, Matt Webb, he finished 5th with, I think, 10.70, I think it was. But I wanted to share with you guys that retrieve. There are times when they won't eat that bait in a horizontal fashion. They want that lift drop. And I think a lot of times when that you know, you lift it and then it falls back to the bottom, it draws a reaction strike. It triggers them to bite. And if they're following it at all, when it falls, that directional change, and as it's shimmying back to the bottom, that's what I feel like more often than not actually gets those fish to bite. And it's something that I don't think a lot of people talk about when you think of bass fishing. How important your actual presentation is key. How you present the bait will dictate whether or not you get bites. And obviously, I think that it was the key to getting bites that day because, well, like I said, on a straight retrieve, I never had a bite. But that lift drop and letting it shimmy back to the bottom was key for me. I threw it on a Phoenix M1. That's the M1 rod. Really nice, super lightweight, very unique handle configuration there with the cork. It's a very light and very sensitive rod, Phoenix M1. It's a 7.2 medium heavy. Looking back, I think I would have liked to go with a longer rod, but a longer rod would have moved the bait a further distance on the same amount of pull. So maybe this was the right setup. Hard to say now that the tournament's over. Ran with 14-pound test Gamma fluorocarbon, and then a Johnny Morris Bass Pro Shops Johnny Morris Signature Series reel, and the reel was at 8-3-1. It would have probably been better if I did the 6-8-1, but this is what I had on board, and the 6-8-1 would have got me to slow it down a little bit more. But that was the retrieve, that was the bite. Wanted to share it with y'all. It's important to think about your presentation. How you present a bait can definitely make a difference in the number of bites you're gonna get. That's it for today, guys. Quick video. Hope you guys liked the video. If you do, please give me a thumbs up. Drop a comment down below if you've had that experience, if you actually know this. A lot of guys will call that worming a trap, worming a rattle trap. And you can rip it out of grass, you can fish it off the bottom, because you can worm it like you would with a jig or a worm and stuff like that. But if you're not familiar, I have some merch, Team Niggemeyer Fishing. Go over there and check that out. I'll put a link in the description section below. I appreciate everybody for watching the videos. Appreciate the comments, the kind words, and all the support. Until next time, thanks for watching. Good fishing.